the one thing I assured him, I would never divulge who that family was. So don't ask me that question. I'm not going to divulge who he was or what his occupation was. Because he used the name of R.C. Christian, he told me, because he was a Christian.
Now, we may ask you a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, that's fine.
And why, because that's obviously a curiosity people have. Why would he use that name and things? So.
Well, you see, if it was not kept as a great secret who the people were who put it there, people would soon get over going up and reading those 10 precepts. And you have to remember, this was done during the time when Russia and the U.S. were threatening each other with nuclear missiles in the time of the Cold War.
According to Wyatt Martin, the original purpose of the monument was to provide guidance for humanity in the event of a nuclear holocaust, one that might require rebuilding civilization.
I can remember in the days in the 60s going down through Florida there, and you'd see fallout shelters built along the areas of the lakes there where I was fishing. And people at one time had a great fear of that occurring. We had to enlist the services of people that, like from the University of Georgia, to show us how to drill the hole up through the Norman Pole where you could look at night and see Polaris, the northernmost star. Because if this worldwide calamity had arisen, you could have gone back and found the northern star again. With the sun coming through the slots drilled down through the Norman Pole, when the sun rises on the shortest day of the year, it shines at a different angle through there, so you can tell the shortest day. On the longest day of the year, it'll shine out the other way, and you can therefore establish the calendar again, so you could reestablish the compass and the calendar.
Wyatt Martin became closely acquainted with many details of the Guidestones because of his working relationship with R.C. Christian. But how did he first meet this mysterious stranger? We asked him to explain how it all began.
Well, I was president of the bank, the Granite City Bank, which no longer exists, there in Elberton, and also president of the Chamber of Commerce for 2 years. And one Friday afternoon, a customer of mine called me and said, "There's some kind of kook over here in my office wanting this crazy monument, and that we're busy with payrolls. Could you talk with him?" I said, "You're trying to put one off on me." He said, "No, I want you to talk with him."
The man on the phone was Elberton businessman Joe Findlay.
Joe Findlay, who is now deceased, owned Elberton Granite Finishing Company. Mr. Findlay says that late one afternoon, a man came into his office, told him he wanted to buy a monument. Well, this is a fairly common occurrence here in Elberton. People passing through from all over the country, they think they can buy a cemetery memorial cheap because they can get it wholesale. And so it's a fairly common thing for people to stop in and say, "I want to buy a monument." And of course, we say, well, we don't sell them to the public. We sell them to monument retailers. We're wholesale manufacturers. And by the time you paid the freight to get it north, you'd come out cheaper to buy it locally, plus, you know, the service aspect. But anyway, this man said he wanted to buy a monument. Mr. Findlay, it was late. He said he thought, well, you know, he said, "Well, sir, we're a wholesale manufacturing company. What kind of monument?" He said, "Oh, I want one 20 feet tall." And here we go. And this man told him, said, "I'm not going to tell you my real name, but I'm a Christian, and I'm going to use a pseudonym as R.C. Christian." He said, "I represent a group who wants to put up a monument espousing these rules for mankind.